Parents with nanny cams, what have you caught your babysitter doing? I house/dog sit for friends of my parents. The first time I did it, they mentioned they had a security camera by the front door that was motion activated, and I didn't really think anything of it. They were gone for a few weeks. They come home. Their 2 giant huskies are happy. I get paid and all was well. A couple weeks later my mom calls me laughing. My parents had dinner with the friends I dog sit for, and they showed a video to my parents from the front door cam. Apparently all it showed was me sprinting full speed down the hallway, a dog toy in hand, biggest stupid grin on my face, followed by the 2 huskies running and sliding after me, followed by me, followed by the huskies, over and over and over and over again. I sit for them as often as I can. Watched her outside playing with my dogs. She was dog sitting. Our yellow Labrador and golden retriever puppy started munching the blueberries right now off our blueberry bushes. They know damn well they are not supposed to get into the blueberry patch. We watched our dog sitter run over to them and try to get them to stop. She then ran inside and ran back out with a bowl. She proceeded to race the dogs for the blueberries. Had to be one of the highlights of our trip. We came home to a bowl of blueberries in the fridge and 2 very guilty puppers. One of the dogs my family had when growing up developed a taste for blackberries. We tried to discourage him from eating them through various means, but nothing was out of reach for him, and he had the ability to tell precisely when they ripened. Even though we had the vines tied up off the ground, he'd still get them. If you caught him in the act you'd see him on his hind legs giving a careful sniff to identify the ripe ones, then delicately pluck each of them off the vine. God, I miss that blackberry thief. My story isn't that interesting, but I have a camera to check in on my rabbit when I'm not there. The biggest surprises were mostly just how almost nobody followed my pet sitting instructions. The one exception, ironically, was my brother, who claimed to hate the rabbit and always wanted to get rid of it. I got an alert one day that my camera had detected movement while my bro was there taking care of him, and I decided to take a peek. I opened the app connected to the camera and saw my bro walk into my room, lay on the floor, and start playing with my rabbit. It just warmed my heart. First rule of siblings: never show your siblings that you love them or their pets. I dog sit for some neighbors, one of which told me she has a camera in the living room/dining room for her dogs. You know, those ones that dispense treats. Anyways, I thought it was a strange essential oil diffuser until she told me what it was. I was being paid to play with them for an hour, but she found out that I was actually staying for 2 or 3 hours. When she asked me about it, I think I said something like I'd want someone to do the same for my dog. Ever since then she leaves me treats in the kitchen and even got me a Christmas present from the dogs. She leaves you treats? You're now also her dog. Friends of ours don't have kids but have dogs. They were going out of town and told the dog sitter about all of the cameras, including the one that is outside but sometimes picks up reflections and will actively notify them of motion. The dog sitter seemed to get it, but she forgot to convey that to her boyfriend, who came out and walked around naked quite a bit. The dogs were naked too. Fair's fair. We didn't have a nanny cam, but my mom set up the camcorder when she suspected our babysitter was stealing, and then caught the babysitter stealing. She returned most of the stuff when my mom threatened to report her to the police. I think she should still have reported her anyway. Now she probably just went on stealing at other people's places. I think she learned her lesson. Next time the camcorder will be stolen at first. My family bought one to see our dogs when we leave on vacation twice a year. It's one where they can hear us, and we thought it'd be great. We hardly used it. We also asked our maid to dog sit for us while we were out. Once when we looked at the feed we saw the dog sitter there a solid 30 minutes early, just petting the dogs and playing with them. She's since retired from working, but she was the sweetest old lady and we love her. Another time my dad left a wad of cash on top of the washing machine, about $600, and she put a rubber band around it with a note saying he misplaced it. Stories like this make me so happy. I was a nanny for a family for over 10 years. I moved 8 hours away, but sometimes I drive up to stay with them. If they need me for a weekend, I miss the kids so much. I also babysat/house cleaned all through high school and college. I pride myself on never stealing a thing and never having laid a hand on a child. I'd rather maintain a great relationship and have guaranteed client base for years to come instead of a $20 object to porn. Most they'd see me do on a nanny cam was picking my nose lol. My uncle told me this once when a babysitter was holding his daughter, my older cousin, when she was a baby. The baby was playing with her toys and she somehow swallowed a small piece of something, and the babysitter performed the Heimlich but for babies. There's a version of that for babies IDK where I found it though. She saved my cousin and her family was thankful. They have no idea where the babysitter is now, but right now she's supposed to be around her late 40s. Edit 1. I asked my uncle about this, and apparently they know where the babysitter is. She is in California, and she is a very well paid doctor, and makes over $310k a year. Physician. That's the only thing he knows since she left. I've been a pretty regular weekend nanny for an amazing family for 4 years now. They've cycled through a couple different weekday nannies. Since I've been with them there is only one monitor and it's in the little dude's room. Once the mom showed me on the camera why they let one go. Little dude said mommy said I don't have to do that. And the nanny snapped back, well it doesn't matter, mommy is a bitch, and then dragged the kid out of the room by his shirt. Super fired. We have a security camera in my bedroom for my free roam bunny, so we can keep an eye on her whilst on work if we go on holiday etc. Well, my dad is 50 and is a big bloke who acts like he doesn't like pets. Came over to visit one day whilst I was out. He went in my room and crouched down calling the bunny. He spent an hour trying to pet the rabbit and kept repeating in a soft voice, I'm not going to hurt you. I just want to pet you and see how fluffy you are. He just about crapped himself when I spoke through the security camera to tell him she's very fluffy, sitting on our couch playing with the dogs like we paid them to. I never understood why my neighbors pay me to sit and play with their dogs, like I'd pay you to come over and play with your dog. The trick is never telling them that. They might not actually ask you to do it for free or pay them, but a certain type of person will use that advantage to start asking you to do other little tasks until you're basically an underpaid maid. The couple I sat for had a nanny cam in their living room, the kind that went in bears. They got me on video giving their 2-year the Heimlich after he tried to eat a rock. Fun somewhat related fact. I recently took a first aid course, and they're not legally allowed to call it the Heimlich maneuver anymore, because the inventor died, and his family want royalties for companies teaching it as Heimlich maneuver. It's just the J maneuver now. Edit. So apparently that was a fake The Onion article. When I asked the instructor why it wasn't called Heimlich anymore, that's what he said. So it's an either widespread fake, or he was trolling us. I'm not a parent, rather the child, and I had this nanny, or yaya as we would call it. It became useless, because she soon found out, and kept unplugging the camera. It turns out she was slowly stealing money from my family. We fired her. If a hardwired camera got unplugged even once, I would immediately think someone tampered with it. It was more of while we were out, she would unplug it, and before we get back she would plug it again. At first we thought, oh, maybe we need to restart the camera, it's just not connecting. And then it became so frequent to the point it was obvious she was unplugging it. Thank God she's not our yaya anymore. We have a nanny cam, and we caught our nanny dancing with our baby, making him laugh and giving him kisses. She's the best, and the cameras gave us the peace of mind to know she really treats him like her own. Last year I was working for a family that had a 3-year-old and a 7-month-old toddler was down for a nap, so it was just me and the baby. I put on some Otis Redding and was singing to her, and her mom walked in the door as I was twirling her around LMAO. I was so embarrassed to be caught, but she thought it was the cutest thing. Well, a case which happened near where I live. Woman used to work, husband out of country, had a 2-year-old kid. They hired a nanny to look after him during daytime. Day by day kid started looking malnourished, so she set up a spy cam. Apparently the lady used to bring her kid and feed him all the food left for the kid she was supposed to babysit. Then she would feed the kid cheap biscuits. She was promptly handed over to police. That happened to my uncle. The babysitter was stealing formula for her own child and giving him watered down formula. My uncle got sicker and sicker. They fired the babysitter, but he eventually died. This isn't a bad one. My parents caught the babysitter carrying our 60-pound golden retriever like he was a baby. We caught our maintenance guy spooning with our 130-pound mastiff on the floor. We encourage their love as best we can now.